Jesus Christ is the foundation of Christian life. Is Jesus Christ the foundation of your life? In our first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, there was a sentence that caught my eye. The sentence is, now I forgot what the sentence was. About the builder rejecting the cornerstone, sort of summarizing that. Isn't that something? I did this yesterday and was okay. So in a sense, about the cornerstone. So that was the sentence that caught my eye. What really caught my eye was the word cornerstone. For myself, and maybe for a number of you, when we talk about a cornerstone, what do we talk about? That block that is put in between two walls that usually has the date the building is built. That's what my idea was, a cornerstone. Guess what I did as I prepared for this homily was to look it up on the internet. And guess what? What I think was the second definition of the word cornerstone. The first definition came across: an important quality or measure on which a particular thing depends or based upon. That makes sense, doesn't it? So that's why I emphasize Jesus Christ is the foundation of Christian life, and is Jesus the foundation of your life, because some word similar to cornerstone is foundation, base. So as we reflect upon that in terms of our own lives, my emphasis to you today is to look at your foundation. And what is the strength of that foundation? Is it weak? Is it strong? Or somewhere in between? Why I am emphasizing the strength of your foundation is how you will build upon that foundation of Jesus Christ in your life. That's why as Catholic people, we encourage people to grow in their relationship with the Lord, to have an intimate and personal relationship with Jesus, so that it continues to grow and become stronger in our life, so that we can give witness of Jesus to others. We hear in the scripture passage about Jesus telling his disciples, go forth and proclaim the good news. We are his disciples. We are called to do the same, to go forth and proclaim the good news. As I was also thinking about that whole emphasis, we are called to be his witnesses. We are called to witness the virtues, the qualities that Jesus came and lived among us. And it's found in the scripture passages. If I would go among you and ask you some of those qualities and virtues, you would come up with many different aspects that are important to you, that you would like to grow in and to live it out in your life. And what I would like to do with that today is to share some of those virtues and qualities that I think are important in my ministry, that I need to live out and share with you and others who come on my way. One of the important aspects that I've learned through my ministry was the fact that being present to others is important. If you look into the scriptures, you could see Jesus being present to others. He listened. He communicated. He was in their presence. He was there for them. Why you're making a strong point about that is, in our society today, are we redefining what it means to be present to others? I was thinking about that in terms of watching TV and seeing some of those commercials that they advertise. But they sometimes have a second point to it as well besides selling a product. There are commercials out there where people are present to one another. They're not paying attention. One of the commercials I always think was hilarious was the fact the father is sitting with his two daughters on a couch, and he turns to them and said, "Are you communicating?" They said, "Yep." They're texting. They're not talking. Some friends of mine once shared of the fact that they called up their children on the phone, and they didn't answer the phone. They text them, they got a response. Says something. We need to be present to one another. We need to communicate and talk. One of the commercials that I always thought was interesting was one where the family's coming over to grandma and grandpa. And before they get into the house almost or into the living room, they have to go through an obstacle course to get rid of their cell phones and their iPads and their games so that they will be present to grandma and grandpa. That's what we need to be, present to one another so we can listen and communicate. Maybe we do that more than worrying about our iPhones or whatever else comes our way. Maybe there'll be less tension and stress and anger in families, in our community. So that's one of the things that is important to me, being present, to listen, to communicate, to be there for them. We need to work on that all. The second emphasis is to be kind. That's important as well. Jesus was kind to others, even people who disagreed with him. He was kind to them, to his apostles, even though he sometimes got on their case, but he still was kind, helping people to grow. We need to be kind to one another in our words, in our actions. Do we do that? Or do we get so upset all the time that we say things we ought not to say? I know in terms of my ministry in the past, I always say, think before you speak. Do we think before we speak? Or do we just blurt it out and say, oh, I shouldn't have said that? We need to be kind to one another, even people we might not like or care about, or people might not like us. We need to be kind in words, in actions. Are we going to do that? The third point, I always like to have 3 points in a homily, just like Bishop Morneau. When he gives a talk, he gives 10 points, because it goes longer. So my third point is compassion. We are called to be compassionate people, to be people who forgive from the heart. Not to hold on to grudges, not to seek revenge, but to truly be people who forgive from the heart. Yes, I've been hurt. Probably Sister Marla's been hurt. You've probably been hurt too. But we need to forgive, to be compassionate. If we do that, we're doing what Jesus is doing, because what I have emphasized is Jesus forgave those who put him on the cross. Forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they're doing. He forgave from his heart. And that's what I'm called to do. That's what you're called to do. So as we reflect upon those emphasis and those virtues and qualities you see in the scriptures for yourselves, you need to live it out. That's why he began by saying, Jesus Christ is the foundation of Christian life. Is Jesus the foundation of your life? Build on that foundation. Give witness to Christ and truly bring those virtues to others in the good you can do for one another, especially your families and your friends.